So it's Saturday night and I thought I would do pizza night. Pizza and some games, you know, self-isolation thing. We got to entertain ourselves, and it is Saturday night, so it's a good time to spend with the family. And we like to make pizza in the bread maker. If you saw my video about the Valentine's pizza roll-ups and sweetheart calzones, it's the same dough recipe. We use this for pizza all the time, and it makes a lot of dough, so it makes about 3 pizzas. And I'm gonna show you how I have that recipe on my bread maker already, because we make it a lot. You can see my son's trombone. He was washing his trombone, so it's by the dish rack. So here I have the recipe taped to the bread maker because we make this a lot. And it's a big batch, so it makes about 3 pizzas. And that way we can kind of each make our own pizza and, you know, have exactly what we want. Okay, so I have this pizza crust yeast. It's not what I usually use, but a while back when I tried to get yeast, I usually like to get the jars, and all they had at the store was a variety of packages, and since we use it for pizza crust a lot, I figured I'd use this one, but I've never used it before. I usually use either the Rapid Rise or the bread machine yeast, and either one of those work fine, so we'll see how it turns out. So what I do first is I have 1 2/3 cups water that I heated in the microwave for about 40 seconds in my microwave. It will probably vary for different people's microwaves, but it basically gets it to 80 degrees. You want it warm, not hot. And then I'm going to pour the yeast in there. I only have this little opening. Hold on. So I just pour the yeast right in there. Hopefully this works well in a bread machine. We'll see. So I thought I was filming it, but apparently I wasn't. But I just put the yeast in there, and I don't like necessarily let it sit for a while. But I did feed it some sugar. I had 2 tablespoons of organic cane sugar, but you can use whatever you have. And now I'm going to add, let's see, 2 tablespoons of plant-based milk. I'm going to use this unsweetened almond milk. All right, and then next I'm going to put in the flour. This recipe calls for 4½ cups of flour. So it's a pretty big recipe, so I'm actually using a blend of unbleached all-purpose, this is an organic one, and some whole wheat flour. I got this from the bulk bins a while back at my local natural food store, and I'll just put that in. Alright, so I ended up putting in a combination of 3 cups of the all-purpose flour and 1.5 cups of the whole wheat flour, and I have a little hack for you. So I know in a lot of places it might be hard to find flour right now, and if you didn't already have some, I have a little hack for you, because I know here in Colorado Springs I've been to several different grocery stores trying to get whatever I need, and almost none of them have flour. So the 2 major big stores here, King Soopers and Safeway, that are in my area, neither one of them has had flour for about 3 weeks at least now. That's the amount of time I'd been looking for it. The last time I was at Trader Joe's, they were either completely out or almost completely out. And I had picked up an extra bag right before all this started to happen, and I also had a partial bag, and then I had some whole wheat flour, but I just went to my local natural food store. It's just a little locally owned store, and they are really well stocked on a lot of things that other stores are out of. So if you go to your big box store and they're out of flour, try going to a smaller store like maybe Natural Grocer. They're in a lot of cities. Or if you have a locally owned natural food store that has bulk bins, or even just stuff on the shelf, they might be better stocked than you think. Because everybody's going to the big box stores and they're not really thinking about the little stores. And a lot of people aren't used to buying in bulk anyway, so they're really well stocked. And my natural food store, Mountain Mama's, has a lot of different types of flours. So not only the all-purpose and whole wheat flour, but they have all kinds of gluten-free flours. So it's worth checking out, and it can possibly even save you money from how much it would have cost to buy it in a bag anyway. So that's something to consider. Like I said, I happen to have a pretty good stock of flour already, so hopefully you do too, and if you don't, check out one of those smaller stores if you can. So now that all that's left to put in is a teaspoon of salt, and yeah, I just spilled it all over. I'm trying to do this with one hand on the camera and one hand on the salt. But I always put this in last because I have heard from different chefs and things that the salt reacts with the yeast in a way that you don't want it to. I'm not sure exactly what it does, but I add the salt with the flour, and I add that last, or second to last. I still need to add some oil, but that kind of separates it a little bit from the yeast. And I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I have extra virgin here, but really I think you could use any kind of oil you like. I just kind of like the flavor that the olive oil gives it. I turn this on before I add the oil. 6 is the setting on mine. It's probably different than yours. This is an older bread maker. And just let that go through its cycle. This one happens to be a little over an hour. All right, there's the dough. It's all risen. And there's a nice shadow on it. So I'm going to turn around here. But yeah, this is going to be enough for 3 pizzas. So I just take off a chunk at a time. Oh, it'll come apart. And then I'm going to roll that out into a pizza, and we'll bake one at a time.
While the oven is preheating, I start rolling out the dough, and I just roll it out as thin as I can possibly get it, and as circular a shape as I can get it, which isn't always a perfect circle. And then I heated my pizza stone in the oven, and then I sprinkle some cornmeal on it to keep the dough from sticking. It also adds a nice texture and flavor. Then I spread a little olive oil on there. We've experimented with a lot of ways of doing this pizza crust, and we decided that not only is it best to pre-bake the pizza crust before you put the toppings on, but that the olive oil adds a really nice flavor and texture. Ignore those red streaks, that's just some marinara that got on there.
So here I have a bunch of toppings, and we're all just going to make our own. So I have a bunch of veggies that we like: onions, tomatoes, mushrooms, minced garlic, red bell pepper, artichoke hearts, and some homemade pesto. This is a spinach basil pesto with sunflower seeds. And I also have some marinara, and I have vegan cheese for me and regular cheese for the guys.
So once my crust was pre-baked, I started adding some of that delicious homemade vegan pesto on the bottom. And I like mine with pesto and marinara, so I went ahead and added some organic marinara on there. And I was using a variety of vegan cheeses because I seemed to be running out of all of them at the time. So I started out with some vegan mozzarella on the bottom and then started adding some of my toppings. And then I ended up adding the vegan feta and the vegan parmesan at the end.
So here's my finished product. I put pretty much everything on there. I've got mushrooms, artichoke hearts, olives, peppers, onion, tons of garlic, and some of that tofurkey sausage. Then I have Violife feta and some vegan parm and some vegan mozzarella underneath. And I can't wait to dig into this pizza. It is gonna be amazing. So have a good night and have a pizza night if you can. You know, just use whatever ingredients you have and have fun with it. Take care and be safe. Bye.
Thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video, and if you want to see more recipes from me, try downloading my easy vegan recipes. I will leave the link in the description box below. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, leave a comment, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.